Hello and thank you for choosing Citywide RV. We've put together the following presentation to help familiarize you with the features of your rental unit. Please take a moment to watch the film and remember that you can always come back and review these videos if you need to refresh your memory. Thanks and have a great vacation.
So right now the unit is plugged into itself, meaning that the black cord is plugged into the silver box. That silver box is the generator power outlet. So with it plugged into itself and the generator running, it can power up everything inside the unit. When you're at a campsite, what you want to do is you want to unplug the connector and pull the cord out. And this is the 30 amp connector that you want to plug into the power pole at the campsite. If you're at a campsite or you're at your house and you don't have a 30 amp outlet, we throw in this adapter to make it into a 15 amp. This is just like your regular household. The only thing that you have to understand is this limits how much power goes into the unit. So it might power up the microwave, it might power up the outlets, but at some point it only is allowing 15 amps into the unit, so you could pop a circuit breaker if you overload it. Okay, so everything inside the coach unit will operate on 12 volt or propane, with the exception of the microwave, the overhead air conditioning unit, the TV, and any of the power outlets like in your house, the 110 power outlets. For any of those things to work, the unit needs to either be plugged into a power source or the generator has to be working. We have several switches. The first switch is for the power awning, and I'll explain that in a little bit. The second switch is for the light on the outside of the unit, for the porch light. The third switch is for all the lights inside the unit, overhead lights. So as you come in the unit, you can turn the light on as you step in. Directly below those is a toggle switch. This toggle switch is an on-off switch for the coach battery. That's the battery that powers up everything in the back half of the vehicle. Typically it just is left on. If there was an emergency, what you'd do is you'd roll the dial to the off section. If you have little kids like to play with switches, nothing's working in the back half, just double check that this is in the on section. Next to that, you also have the Fusebox. On the Fusebox, you just simply push it at the top and the panel will drop open. You have circuit breakers just like in your house. Those are for any of the 110 outlets or 110 accessories inside the unit. And you also have a bunch of fuses, just like a car fuses, for anything that's the 12 volt system. Alright, so this is the main control panel for the whole coach system. The very first button at the very bottom is you have an LPG, which is your propane. If you simply push that, it will indicate by red dots how full the propane is. On the outside of the unit, there's a propane door to access the tank if you have to shut it off or if you have to fill it. Open the door, and on the inside you'll see a valve just kind of like your gas grill. Twisting it in is off, twisting it out is open. There's also a physical gauge on the outside of the tank to let you know accurately how much propane is in that tank. If you push the battery button, it'll tell you how charged the coach battery is. When we talk about the battery, for the coach battery condition, there's 3 ways that battery gets recharged. The first is that when the vehicle is running, it recharges the coach battery. The second way is if the unit is plugged into a power outlet, you'll recharge that battery. The third way that battery will start to recharge is when the generator is running. If you push the fresh button, it'll tell you how much fresh water is in the freshwater tank inside the system. Black is the toilet waste tank. Gray is all your other sink, your shower tank, and how full that is. On the left side, you have a water pump. The water pump is to get the fresh water out of the unit to pressurize all the sinks, and it's simply just turning it on, and it'll power up. You simply turn it off. There's also a hot water tank. Hot water tank runs off of the propane. Simply turn it on. Blue light indicates that it is not working. Once you see the light is gone, the heater is now heating the water. It is a small tank. It's roughly 8 to 10 gallons. Takes 15 to 20 minutes to warm up, and then there would be like one shower, and then you have to let it warm up again. And it's just simply turn it off, push it in the off position. On the right side, you have the generator functions. To start the generator, what you do is you push the generator prime button and hold it until the blue light lights up. That primes the generator for a start, and then push the top generator button to the start position. You'll hear it crank. So once the generator is started and running, what you'll see is the hour meter lights up, and that's the actual gauge of it. It lets us know how much it was used. To shut the generator off, just simply push the stop side of that switch and it will shut itself off. It's important to know that the generator runs off of the vehicle's gas tank, but will not run below a quarter of the vehicle's gas tank. So if you're going to be parking for a length of time, make sure you have plenty of gas for the vehicle. That way you won't run out of gas for the generator. Okay, so this door is for the generator. Simply open the door. They have these great little latches to help hold the door. To get the cover off the generator, you need to push both of these black levers to the right and then lift up and out on the door, and it comes off. Only thing that needs to be shown here is there is a circuit breaker on the generator. If for some reason you left the air conditioning unit on and you start the generator, the load of the air conditioning unit can pop a circuit breaker that is located inside this panel. If you look straight down here, it's a circuit breaker just like you'd have in your house. And forward is on, and if it's back in towards the generator, it's popped off. So then you just simply pull it back forward. Double check that the air conditioning unit and all the 110 outlets or furnace or anything that's taking 110 is off, and then go ahead and restart your generator. So on unit 302, the generator is a little different, nothing fancy. Just simply go into the compartment, push up on these two tabs, and lift out for the door to be removed. And the circuit breaker is up in the upper right corner, just like a house circuit breaker. This might pop if you accidentally left the air conditioning unit on and you then started the generator. So what you always want to do is just make sure that you have the air conditioning off, major things unplugged, or not trying to run before you start the generator. Otherwise, this circuit breaker could pop. If it does pop, simply reset it, make sure everything is off, and then go ahead and restart the generator. If you're not hooked up to water and you need to flush the toilet or run the sink, just go ahead and push the water pump switch, and that'll pressurize the freshwater tank. So the toilet's pretty simple. The flush valve is a foot valve to the right side of the toilet, and just simply push it down and water will flush the toilet. At some point, if the odor gets too strong in here, or after you dump the unit, what you want to do is you want to pour in about a half a bottle of the chemical. It's very simple to do. Just take the cap off, open up the seal, go ahead and just flush the toilet and dump half a bottle down the toilet as you're flushing. This will help kind of break up the solid waste. It also take away some of the odor, and it helps to break down the tissue. As far as the paper used, what we always recommend is RV or septic safe. It does a lot better job of actually breaking down so that it doesn't create clogs before you dump the unit. There's a front upper bunk. To get that for sleeping, you just simply pull this insert down into the hole. Then you have two seatbelt connectors with a net. It helps hold the kids in place at night so that nobody rolls out of bed. Again, never want, while going down the road, any luggage on top of the front storage area or any people up there while you're going down the road. Okay, the couch also pulls out like a bed, kind of like a futon you might have at your house. You simply pull up on the front of the bottom cushion and then pull out and up at the same time, and it will flip open into a bed. Seatbelts then can be undone and tucked into the bottom to get out of your way. To reverse it, same thing, lift up on the front and just push it back into place. Dinette table breaks down into a bed as well. What you do is you kind of move the cushions up out of the way on both sides. Pull the tabletop up. You then take the legs out of the floor, set them down on the ground, and then you reuse the tabletop into these channels right here. It just lays down to finish the platform. And then go ahead and put the cushions back over the top. Alright, so window's pretty simple, straightforward. Unlock them, slide the window open. Just remember as you're going down the road, it's not advised to have the windows open. This is just like a house screen. Doesn't usually handle 70 miles an hour very well. So typically what I recommend is having them shut while going down the road. There's also a privacy screen, which you just simply pull down. Just like your house. Again, definitely don't want to have the window open going down the road with that shade down. And then to put it up, you just simply push up. This unit has vents at the top for the ceiling to get the heat out. They work great. While stationary to get the heat out, it's very simple. Just crank them open. Only thing I want to remind you is don't have them open while going down the road. It's just a piece of plastic. It'll take damage if you're going 70 miles an hour down the road. So make sure before you ever leave, you keep these shut. But they work great to get the heat out of the unit if you're stationary. We have smoke detectors in all the units, just like your house. It's got a test and a reset button. Obviously, if you had issues with it going off, get yourself out, make sure everything's safe. As far as the stovetop goes, it's kind of like a gas grill. If you just turn the dial to light and then hit the sparker on the left side, it'll spark. That sparker operates all of them, so no matter which one you put on light, just simply hit the spark and it'll ignite any which one you have on gas. And then you control your temperature. Shut them off, just obviously turn it back down to off. So to light the oven, what you have to do is you have to turn the far right dial to pilot and push it in and hold while you light the pilot light. So the fridge is in this unit. It's a simple on-off switch on the left. Out is off, in is on. The right button is out is the propane or gas. In is to auto. What auto is it looks for either the electrical or the propane. If you're going to be traveling a lot or you don't have electrical hookup, the best bet is just to leave it onto the gas, which is the button out, and it'll stay cool the entire trip. Only other thing is what you want to watch out for is this check light. If this check light is illuminated at any point, the refrigerator is not working. What I recommend is you turn it off, turn it back on again, make sure the second button is on gas or propane, and then let it sit for a while and it should come back alive. Inside the fridge, there is a temperature control probe. It's to the far right on the fins. It's kind of hard to see, but the more exposed the probe is up, the cooler it's going to get, and the more it's covered onto the plastic, the warmer the fridge will get. Only other note on the refrigerator is to make sure that the vehicle is fairly level. If the vehicle is actually tipped at an angle, the refrigerator will not work. The temperature controls, as far as the air conditioning and the heat, are all controlled in this little black box, very similar to your house. The modes are all down here, so if you push the mode button once, it goes to fan. Push it again, it will go to cool, that's your air conditioning. Push it again, it goes to furnace, so your heat. And then you can control the temperature once you're in which mode setting that you want. Only other thing I'd like to note is if somebody accidentally pushes both buttons at the same time, it will go to Celsius. And you just simply push it twice again, and it'll go back to Fahrenheit. And to turn it off, just push it till the bottom light lights. In this unit, all the outlets are wired to one GFI. The GFI reset is in the bathroom underneath the sink. So for some reason, if outlets are going down and you don't have anything working, go in the bathroom underneath the sink, look at that outlet, and reset the GFI, very similar to one that you might have in your house. Okay, this unit's equipped with a carbon monoxide and a propane detector. It's in the back of the unit, kind of by the shower. If the alarm goes off, first thing obviously you want to do is get everybody out of the unit, open up the windows and air it out. Double check that the coach battery isn't low on charge, because this sensor is actually hardwired right to the coach battery. And after everything is cleared out, make sure that you reset the unit. What you do is you push in the reset button for 3 to 5 seconds and hold it, and then release, and it will reset the carbon monoxide. Very similar to the one that you might have in your home. As far as the cab of the unit, it's a GM chassis. It's pretty straightforward. Your cruise control settings are on the left side of the steering wheel right here. You have obviously your turn signals and your wipers on the left knob. The headlight switch is down on the lower left corner. You have several switches on the left side with mode buttons. This will indicate your tripometer, your distance, the time, things like that on the buttons on the left. These cabs are also equipped with a manual override transmission, which is the positive and the negative button. These things assist in going through mountain ranges or up and down steep hills. Heating and air conditioning controls are at the top. The little button here with the trailer is actually for towing. That's not used typically. So this vehicle is equipped with a reverse backup camera, and how that works is simply when the vehicle is running, if the vehicle is put into reverse, it automatically turns into a backup camera. Really great tool for helping you back up, make sure nothing's behind you. This unit's equipped with a power awning. It's very simple to use. You basically push the out button, so down on this unit, and the awning will power out. So one of the things to remember about having the awning is don't have the awning out if it's very windy or gusty. The wind can tend to come and damage the unit because it's just a big sail. If you're going to leave the unit for a length of time or go to bed at night, make sure you roll the awning up so if in case a wind does come through and you're not there to close it quickly. Also, make sure you don't have a heat source underneath the awning because it can do damage to the vinyl. And definitely do not try to move the unit when the awning is down. In order to get the awning down, you gotta get to the rod, and that's in this back storage. The rod usually lays right here in the front. Next step is to unscrew this lock just by hand, loosen it just a half turn to a turn, and push this black tip towards the unit until you hear it click. Then do the same for the other side. Loosen the knob, push the black clip until it clicks. The next step is to take the lever that's on the upper right here and pull it down towards you. It has a little arrow that says pull down. Use the rod, pull it towards you until it clicks. And then put the hook into the black strap and start to pull. If it starts to do this, because the vehicle's not level, okay, if it's parked at a little bit of an angle, what you have to do is come to the arm that's not moving and pull it away. So this one we pull towards the back of the unit, and it'll come loose. Go back to the back black strap and pull it down the rest of the way. The next step is to take the support arm and just simply slide it all the way up to the top until you hear a click, and then go ahead and retighten this black knob. To adjust the height of the awning, black lever hander out, and then simply push the awning to the desired height. Let go of the handle, and it'll click into place. And then do that for both sides. Support arm, slide up until you hear a click. Tighten the knob. Pull the black handle out. Slide up to the height. And it'll click into place. Never want to have the awning up when it's a windy day. Never want to have a fire underneath it or near it so that the sparks don't create holes. And it's secure. This black, you want to close up to this. This black tether does slide one side to the other. A reverse order of what we just did. Pull this black lever handle out. Let this come all the way down to the bottom at rest. Loosen the black knob. There's a gray tab on the outside of this arm that you have to pull down to release the support arm, and then slide the support arm all the way down. Do it for both sides. The next step is to take the black strap, slide it all the way over to the front of the awning, hold it securely, and then push the lever forward so it goes up. Take a video of this. Up to go down to go up. You can then slide the black handle back to center, slowly letting the awning back up. Rehook the rod to the strap. It'll go all the way up. You want to squeeze the two pieces together till you hear a click, and then retighten the black knob. Both sides. Makes sense? So all the units come with a white hose for filling or hooking into city water. It's very simple. This unit on the right side here, the portable water, is the fresh water tank that's inside the unit. Okay, in order to refill that, just simply take the cap off. You put the hose in place, screw it on. You're going to turn the water supply on. When you see water coming out from underneath the unit is full of water. Once it's done, shut the water off and go ahead and unhook your hose. The second hose connection here is for the city hookup. That's for if you're at a campsite that has a water hookup. What you do is take the cap off, same thing, put the hose on, connect it, make sure it's tight, and then you go ahead and turn the water on. This one pressurizes the whole unit while you're staying there, so you do not need to use the water pump on the inside. Right. So to dump the unit, the hose to do that is in the back bumper. Simply take this cap off and go ahead and reach in and grab the waste hose. Come over to the station here. And what you want to do is you want to remove the cap, put it off to the side, go ahead and attach your hose. And how it attaches is there's 4 pins, so you just push it on and twist. What you want to do is you want to open the black valves to remove the black tank waste. On this unit, there's actually 2 black valves. There's one black valve on the opposite side of the unit of where the hose hooks up, and it's just a slide valve. So you just simply take it and you pull it out. And that's open. Then what you want to do is go around to the other side of the unit. Once you're back over to the side with the hose hookup, You take the second black valve and go ahead and slide that one open. Watch yourself a little bit. We could have a little. Yep. You allow that to completely dump and empty. And once there's no more running water or you don't hear anything running through, go ahead and shut both of the black valves. After you have both of the black valves shut again, then go ahead and open the gray valve. And again, it's just a slide valve, so just pull it straight out. The reason you do the gray valve second is to help wash out the tube as you're dumping it. And then just remember, you never want the gray and the black valves open at the same time. So hook up the hose, open both black valves, shut both black valves, then go ahead and open the gray valve. When the water's done running, go ahead and shut your gray valve, and then unhook your hose. One more thing. Don't forget to reinstall your cap.